Hello, hello, hello. We are live. We are doing it big. We're excited. Hello, hello, guys. You guys all right out there in Facebook land? I have all of my entrepreneurs on the live right now, and we're ready to make this thing happen. It does appear that we are live. Let's get this thing started. So, John, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Very, very good. So we're excited. So let me make sure I get live. Let me make sure I get my screen together. Hold on one second. So hold on one second. All right, that looks a little better. All right. All right, so everybody should be here. Everybody should be able to hear. You can hear me okay, right, John?
Yes.
All right, good. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I do see that my people are on the live. So Nicole, if you can give me text me, Nicole, and make sure everything is going well. We want everything perfect before we even start this live. Okay. We have exciting entrepreneurs on the live. So we want to make sure everybody can hear everybody. Now on my end, I look frozen, but I'm getting hearts that everything is a go on that side. Can you see John okay? John is not frozen, or talk to me. Again, get my people to text me to let me know that everything is okay. Sarah, do you see me, sweetheart? Sarah is trying to join the live. Sarah is another one of our entrepreneurs for this evening. So we want to give her an opportunity to get on. So give me just a moment. Sound like I'm a dig, T-lady. Sound like a dig. A dig, what do you mean? Is that a positive or a negative? So hold on, let's make sure we get Sarah in. Sarah, send me your situation. Send me your situation. Sarah, come on, girl, where you at? All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Sarah, send me your request to join, and I'll see it at the bottom, and I'll let you on in, okay? Okay, so anyway, John yes. Lucas of Step Into the Light. Now, before we go any further, I recall seeing this huge fundraiser that you were doing for the youth. Explain to us what your mission is for Step Into the Light.
First and foremost, I'm so grateful for all those that donated. I really appreciate you guys. So Step Into the Light is a nonprofit that I created where we provide educational and arts programs and resources to underserved and underprivileged youth, AKA Black people. So making sure that we can try to provide quality programs to keep children engaged and also give them mentorship as they age out of high school and start to choose colleges and go into the workforce.
What made you get into, it's an amazing thing to be involved in, but what made you get into that?
What made me get into it was I got tired of turning on my Facebook and seeing posts of my classmates having to bury their children.
Wow.
Because of gun violence, or, rest in peace because they were being buried because they took a shot for somebody, and so I said to myself, I may not be where I want to be, quote unquote, in life, wherever that is, but I do have enough resources and enough knowledge to go back to my community and try to make a difference, because you can't complain about a problem unless you've taken your responsibility to try to solve it.
Wow, John, that is absolutely commendable of you. Now, what can we do in our local communities to be a part of what you're doing? Is it just in your area? Explain to us how we can get involved.
So for right now, I have two programs operating. The first is I'm raising money to start a Steppers program to teach 100 kids to dance again and to hold hands and hold each other and be intimate without being sexual.
Oh my God.
And to try to revamp their social skills, because a lot of kids, their social skills are a little warped because of technology. They text, they don't talk on the phone, they don't fully interact with one another, and they don't fully express themselves to each other. So that helps on that end. But I also, on the education side, I'm finding that a lot of kids have high grade point averages, but they are not choosing the top schools. The parents are not sending them. I'm dealing with a young woman right now who uh, is accepting scholarship to Eastern Illinois University, which is hey, it's a school, it's college, it's an educational outlet for anybody, but her
Right.
grade point average is a 4.3, and a
Wow.
4.1 gets you into Harvard. So
Wow.
how come we're not sending that young Black girl to Harvard or Yale or Florida A&M or
Mhm.
Xavier or Howard? And
Mhm.
so I'm coming in to say, hey, not only do we need to be sending these kids to college, but we need to be sending them to the right colleges where they have an alumni network that's going to get them gainful employment after college.
Wow, John. Wow. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just that they don't know, or the parents don't know how to get them into those colleges? Or what do you think the disconnect is? Is it just not told in school? What's the
I
disconnect?
think it's I think it's multifaceted. I think that there is a lack of information being told at school. They're not really sending our kids to those universities. They
Mhm,
don't see our kids as being contenders to be there. But
mhm.
on the other side, when I reach out to a lot of these admissions departments for these schools, they're looking for us. We're just not sending our kids. And who ends up going instead of us are Africans or people from the islands. They send their kids, and you can't fault them because they're trying to be the best that they can be. But it is kind of an insult to us because our ancestors fought for us to be there, but we don't send our kids.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that we're doing our part. But on top of that, a lot of parents end up with these kids with high grade point averages, and they don't know what to do with them because they didn't go to college.
Right. So they don't know. I want to ask
Yeah.
I want to ask you this because it's a huge thing that's coming up right now. The fact that we're dealing with this pandemic, and children that were on their way to college and are not being able to test, or the schools are having to come up with other ideas in terms. Because I know here in Georgia they were talking about the kids won't have to take the AST. What is it? The ACT.
ACT or the SAT.
Right.
Yeah.
They won't have to take those. Would that, you think, perhaps cause an issue for our African American children, or do you think that's a good thing for us?
It could work in our favor,
Yeah.
because one thing I can say about and I love about a HBCU is that they will take a child with a 2.5 grade point average and give them the opportunity to get an education so that their GPA isn't as high as all the other high achieving students, but they still see value in them, and if they're willing to work, they will give them the opportunity to get their degree and come out a scholar. So that being said, if your child does not test well, it might work to their advantage. I encourage all parents, just if a child is interested in a certain school, have them call the admissions department and ask these questions. Tell them what's happening
Mhm,
in their state or in their region,
mhm.
so that they can try to rectify the situation. Because once they find out that you're interested, they're going to take interest in you to see how they can connect and make things work.
What can we do to help you in your foundation? What can your nonprofit tell us what we can do to help?
I'm right now I'm looking for donations. This is a job, you know. This isn't a hobby. So I need money to actually uh to make this happen. But as well, don't be afraid to ask me questions. If you have a child or a nephew or a cousin that you see potential in, and you think that they might need some insight, uh, ask questions. That is, and share information. That's one problem that we have in our community, is that we don't ask questions or say I need help.
Mhm,
Um, because a lot of times people around you, they're accessible to your fingertips to tell you, hey, I know this, or this is what I heard, or you should have told me this a long time ago because I did this for my son or for my nephew. So yes, I need your donations for sure, but don't be afraid to ask questions, and please share information with one another. I would also like to say, when you're dealing with your kids, make sure that your children are involved in different activities. One of the dilemmas we're having is that Black children are applying to colleges, but they don't participate in anything anymore.
wow.
And universities are looking to see how active you are. at your high school, so that then they will say, okay, this person is going to be active in our student body at our collegiate institution. But when your child sits home and plays video games all day, what does he have to show for it?
Wow. Wow.
Make
So
sure you participate.
that's something to think about. You know, when we were in school, mama didn't give us a choice. You were going to be in the band, the choir,
There it is right there. We were
whole
not given
band.
the choice. She was
Yeah,
like, you're going.
you're going to do something. That's what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Something you got to step at that mama taught the schoolhouse. You're going to
Right.
step at that schoolhouse for something after school.
Yeah,
So
and whatever is free, put your child in it. You know, they might not become a swimmer, or they might not become a musician, but they might end up making awesome friends that develop their character.
and see, I guess that shows that they can deal with, like you said, building character, and they also show that they can deal with maybe being in an organization with the college, and because they want to see what you can add to the college as well, not just
They want to see how what type of an asset you're going to be to the learning environment of their college, so that when you show up with your application and you didn't participate in anything,
Mhm.
they're going to pick someone that has been in all these different organizations, and then you get looked over. And so we want to make sure that our children are competitive.
What can the children, the seniors, but before I go further, when should you start preparing for college? I understand you prepare the whole time, but when should kids start applying, start looking into college? I'm sure it's not your senior year in college, in high
It's
school.
your junior, it's your end of your sophomore year into your junior year is when you should be on a full search,
Okay.
excuse me, with your parents, looking at colleges you're interested in possible universities and scholarships. You
Okay.
know, start looking for the scholarships now so that you already have an idea of what you want to apply for when it's time. You
Oh,
know, we have to be proactive instead of being reactive.
I love that.
And yeah, so definitely junior year, because a lot of your top universities, top ranked universities, you know, University of Notre Dame, Yale, Harvard, University of Michigan, Emory, a lot of those colleges, their deadline is January 1st or January 15th.
Wow.
So, you know, you need to be on it. You know, if you want to audition for, I mean, not audition up, but apply for those schools, you need to be ready in the beginning of the fall to start preparing your application so that everything is done by the time you leave for Christmas break. Now the HBCUs, they understand that, you know, a lot of us Black people are on CPT, and so their deadlines are a little later, you know, and they give us the leniency. That is the beauty of the HBCU. I'm looking at Xavier's deadline, which has one of the top medical programs for HBCUs, and their deadline this year is July 1st.
Wow.
So you could graduate, go on vacation, and still apply and get
Wow.
in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us what we need to do to contact you. What is what's all your handles? How do we follow you? What do we need to do?
So, John Lucas on Facebook, as you see. On Instagram, I am at John Lucas 4 Real. John Lucas number 4 Real. You can email me at STEPON step on 45678 at gmail.com. And my website is www.step letter N number 2 thelight.com. So step letter N number 2 thelight.com.
So what we will do, John will post this information in the comments repetitively because we want to make sure you guys have that information so you can support his cause. I think his cause, his mission is amazing. Go onto his website. Your website is beautiful. I'll talk to you offline about that.
Thank you.
So I'll talk to you offline about that. And thank you so much for joining our virtual networking. This is amazing. I do want to say this before we go to Miss Rowe. We're going to drink some wine, so y'all can get y'all some wine in a minute. But I would like to say to Lynette and Sarah, I do see that you guys are having problems getting into this virtual networking session. What we will do once we end this session, we will come back and let you guys be a part of that separate session. It doesn't appear that I can add you to this one. Don't know why, but 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock is what it is. So anyway, thank you so much, John. Stay tuned. Stay right there, John.
Thank you.
Stay right there.
Okay.
Get you some wine, honey.
All right.
Mute your phone and unmute yours. Let's get it, girl.
It's unmuted. It is unmuted. Oh, you got your wine. Yay.
Rose said, girl, get your wine. Look,
I did.
what's happening? Wait a minute.
I did.
What's happening?
I did. Sip a little bit of that down. Let me get started here. Only got a few minutes, I know.
Let's get it.
Anyway, first of all, prayers out to everyone with the pandemic that's going on, and a big thank you to you for putting this platform together. I'm super excited about that. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rochelle Lee. I'm an independent wine consultant for Wine Shop at Home. It is a boutique winery out in Napa Valley. We're bonded and licensed, and also a member of the Direct Selling Association. Nice. So what I do as an independent wine consultant, number one, I meet amazing people all of the time. And I think that's the best part of my job, is the people that I have met. But also I get to share these award-winning, handcrafted artisan wines. And they're amazing. They are amazing. So how do I share those wines? Normally by coming into your home, I do in-home wine tastings. They're normally very intimate. Actually, we can do them anywhere. But since the pandemic has come about, changed things around for me. So now everything has been virtual, but it has given me the opportunity to get back into fundraising. That is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And I don't know if y'all know it or not, but wine and alcohol sales have gone up 65%. So people are buying wine. So me combining that with fundraising, trying to, raise some money for some different organizations that I like.
I will say this, you and I spoke offline and you were like, I'm essential. And I'm like, you know what? The liquor stores are open. So y'all, Rose is essential. She should be selling out. Now, I mean, maybe a lot of y'all didn't know that she was a wine consultant. And let me let you know something. She sent me a bottle of wine, baby. I'm a light drink. I'm gonna let you know that right now. One glass, and I was like, oh, okay, I can feel it.
Well, the one that I sent you, the alcohol content on that was 12%. So it had a little alcohol in it.
Is that a lot? See, I don't know. That doesn't mean
it's a lot. It's a lot. We'll get into that. We'll get into that real quick in a few minutes.
Okay, but go on. Let me let you do your boo. Go ahead.
All right. A couple of things that I really love about the wines that I sell. Number one, they're small production wines. So 1,500 cases or less. These wines that I sell, you're not going to find in your local grocery store or wine store. They're exclusive. You're only going to get them through me. So that's one thing that I love about it. The second thing is our winemaker, Alex, he adheres to European standards as it pertains to sulfites. So sulfites in American standards, European is like less than half. So it's a lot lower. So what does that mean to the consumer? If you experience headaches, upset stomach, indigestion, reflux, some people can't drink wine because they experience those things. You should not experience that with our wine.
Oh, wow.
So everyone that I've, recommended a wine to who has experienced that has not come back to tell me that they had the problem. So I love that.
Oh, excuse us. Go ahead. I like it.
All right. A couple of things I like to actually go over in my my tastings. I do a little bit of wine one-on-one, and this is where you come in. So wine one-on-one is the 4 S's of wine.
Okay.
So you have your wine. So we're going to actually look at your wine. You're going to swirl, you're going to sniff and sip. So let me explain to you what that is. Number one, when we look at our wine, if it's a white wine, we're making sure that your wine has clarity, that it's not corky or cloudy. So a lot of times we don't pay attention to that when we're out. So if you go to a restaurant and you complain that the food was bad, maybe you had bad food, sometimes you may have had bad wine and you just did not notice that. So a lot of people, they don't really pay attention to that. So look at your wine while you're out, okay? Now for red wines, we wanna make sure it doesn't have a lot of settlement in the bottom, especially if it's not an older wine, okay? So the next thing we wanna do is we wanna swirl. So you wanna swirl your wine. As you're doing that, you're opening it up so that you can actually smell the bouquet of the wine. You're also letting oxygen get in to balance the wine out. So you should have a very smooth taste, or at least I hope you do. Is your wine pretty smooth?
Oh, honey, this is so smooth.
Okay.
Like baby booty. I'm telling you, it's just that smooth.
Ooh, okay, that's smooth. The next thing you want to do is you want to sniff. Okay, when you sniff your wine, some of the fruits that you're looking for, if it's a white wine, you're looking for lemon zest. You could be looking for orange, Granny Smith apples, pear. If it's a red wine, you are looking for your blackberries, your strawberries, your black currant, things like that you will smell in your red wine. And the last thing is your alcohol. So you want all of that to, come together by swirling. How do you determine the alcohol? I'm sorry. How do you determine the alcohol? Is by the wine as it comes down the side of the glass. That's your tears or legs. So if the legs are skinny and they're moving fast, you have a low alcohol content in your wine. Could be an 8%, maybe a 10. If the legs are fat and juicy and they're moving slow, you got a high alcohol content in that wine, maybe like 12% or above.
Ain't no 12% above over here, girl. My legs is moving slow. Okay.
Okay. Another thing that I like to do at my wine tastings, I like to pair foods with the wines. So for example, if you like sparkling wines, I love sparklings. I like to open up my tasting with the sparkling. It wakes up your palate, kind of gets you excited so that you can receive what's coming next. I like to pair sparklings with Chinese food, sushi, and of course your chocolate and fruit. Now, what I like with my sparkling is potato chips and cheese puffs. So when you take the salt along with the acidity in the wine, it's perfect. So it's absolutely perfect.
I don't know about y'all, but I feel so bougie right now. I feel so bougie because I'm going to say this. I don't think we have a lot of people in our community that really talks about wine. I could be completely wrong. Matter of fact, I think I saw a special that's supposed to come out soon. I think it was a guy, and he was like
Uncorked.
Yes, uncorked. Yeah, and that's so it's like a thing because we don't really talk about wine in our community, and I think it's important that we do. Give us some of the health benefits of wine. Do you know any of the health benefits?
I do, especially red wine, because red wine has tannins in it.
Okay.
And your tannins, they come from the skin of your grapes and from the barrels when you ferment your wine, and it fights against heart disease. So the Surgeon General now recommends that you have at least 1 glass of red wine each evening. That's for women, and 2 glasses for men.
Well, there you
That's what they recommend.
See? Okay. Now, Ro, you mentioned that you usually go around to people's homes. You can't do that, of course, right now, but you have some things that you're planning to do, some virtual things that you're going to do. Talk to us about that.
I do. Right now, I am doing virtual wine tasting. So if you are interested in a virtual wine tasting, please go to my page, Wine Tasting with Ro, like and share and comment virtual wine tasting. If you're interested in a post-pandemic party, because I will be doing in-home parties once we can all get back together. So please go to my page, like, share, and comment PPP for post-pandemic party. The last thing that I'm doing is I'm doing a drawing for a bottle of our sparkling wine for Mother's Day, and it says Happy Mother's Day. So if you are interested in participating in this drawing, please go to my page, like and share, and comment Mother's Day. I will be announcing the winner on Saturday. I don't have a time yet, but Saturday I'm going to do a mimosa social, and I'll just be showing you different ways that I like my mimosas. So I'll make a couple of mimosas, and then I will announce who the winner is.
Now, let me ask you this, Ro. If people were to order, let's say today, I know it's kind of hard to gauge when they would get it, but could they have it by Saturday so they could be a part of your virtual situation?
They will not have it by Saturday. Everything is so slow right now since the pandemic. It's taking at least 7 to 10 days for your wine to arrive.
Okay. So again,
so it's pretty slow.
How would they order the wine? Talk to them.
If they wanted to order the wine, you can actually go to my site, which is a wine shop at home /Rochelle Lee.
All right.
But I would prefer you contact me if you don't know what you want, if you have any questions, if you want to build a wine order, if you have questions about wine, contact me.
All right. So thank you so much. Wine tasting with Ro, Miss Ro. Listen, she's also going to post her information in the comments repetitively. So if you get mad because you seeing John, because John so far is the only one that should be posted. If you like John, Jesus, we get it. Whatever. You need to be calling John, making some donations, cash apping or whatever. And Ms. Rowe is getting ready to actually start posting her information. I need you guys to support these business owners. This is us. You know, I told you I love our light-skinned cousins, but this is us. This is about us. And we have to figure out how we can keep our money in the community. You're buying wine anyway. You know, you're going down to the local liquor store and buying that stuff out. Buy from Rowe. I'm just saying. That needs to be a t-shirt. Buy from Rowe. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Rowe. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Kazemde. We have Kazemde with Black Dot Bookstore right here in the beautiful city of Atlanta, but he's located in LaTour, Georgia, but he's right down the street. He's right down the street.
Okay? Right down the street.
It's not street.
Street. Oh, that's how you say it? Street? All right, street.
But he's right down the street and I can't even visit him. So let me give you a cyber hug. All right, so Black Dot Bookstore, you guys are at home. You need to be reading. I'm just saying, you need to be reading. Kazemde, you got the floor, my brother.
Well, before I begin, I want to first thank you for doing this. I think this is a wonderful thing. I want to give out a shout out to your previous guests. Ro, you make me want to have some wine right now. It's like I'm looking around. And John, there's no greater investment than investing in our children. Thank you for all the work that you do. You already introduced me. I'm Kazemde, the owner of Black Dot Cultural Center and Bookstore. Been here, what?
I don't think I put the cultural center in there. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Same thing, right?
Right. It's up.
Well, some will say that I've been a serial entrepreneurialist, and over the years, and sometime in, I guess, 2008, 2009, I really started. I was always a reader, but started really delving into material that was really more about our culture, empowering.
Okay.
And that kind of shot off into wanting to share the knowledge, because if it could change my life, it could change so many others. We can't expect anybody to teach us our history but ourselves. So in September of 2017, Black Dot Cultural Center was born, and Bookstore. And with the help of my wife, Robin, we're continuing to grow. And actually, I'm sitting behind my very new coffee bar.
Oh.
So after this pandemic, we'll be serving coffee every morning at 7 o'clock. But more importantly, we talked about reading, and reading is fundamental. Most of my life, I heard, if you want to keep a secret away from Black folks, put it in a book. However, I don't necessarily believe that's true, because we do read. What we read might be different, but we do read. We're not unintelligent. So I provide a bunch of books, various different things, children books, got a wide array of children books, but I also have an online presence. And fortunately, if there's a silver lining in this pandemic for me, is that my online book sales have taken up. So on black.cc.com, people are going on and they're actually purchasing books, which is a beautiful thing. And some have even just cashed at me to say, just because we want you to stay in business. It's important. John talked about everybody else's children going to college. I think we have to understand, by supporting Black businesses, or when a lack of supporting Black businesses sends everybody else's children to college.
Ooh. Wow.
So sometimes we have to think about whose children, when we're spending our dollars, whose children are we sending to college?
Wow.
Yeah, think about that sometimes. Black businesses, small Black businesses, we're the ones that hire community children. We're the ones that put up with them and take them in and give them a home and try to show them the right way. We're the ones that do that. So It's about giving back, not just about business, but it's about giving back to your community.
Wow. With this, because I've had the pleasure of sitting in your bookstore and seeing the neighborhood come in, literally, y'all, people would literally just come in and they will have some of the deepest conversations going. I started questioning, am I Black enough? I don't think I'm Black.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of the conversations would just be mind-boggling. I know that's something that's missing right now because we can't gather we can't gather right now. I want to ask you somewhat of a deep conversation, but not a deep question, but not too deep.
Okay.
Because you're a meeting spot for a lot of the community and a lot of our youth. I mean, you have a lot of young children, young folks coming there and read.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is happening with them now? Do you think they're okay? Have they reached out?
That's a good question. I know some have reached out. Some don't believe in necessarily staying at home. They may pop up. I'm here every day. I'm not necessarily open for business, but this allowed me an opportunity to make some changes. So I do get to see some of them. But social media is a wonderful thing. So we can connect through social media, especially I got a group of young boys that ages 14 and 15 that like to come through, and I have to beat them up all the time, make sure they walk in that straight and narrow, but just ways to stay in contact with them. I'm prayerful that, idle mind sometimes can be a devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
But what I found is if you provide them not only with good guidance, but with information, right? Because one of the things that I do with those boys particularly is every time they come in here to use my free Wi-Fi, they have to read a couple of pages. That's mandatory.
Wow.
And then every once in a while, I have to quiz them to make sure they're actually reading, because we know how to be clever, right?
Right.
But
wow.
when you arm our children with information, they make good decisions.
Wow.
It's about information.
Wow, Kazemde. I love what you're doing for the community. I always have. And I want to make sure before we end this one, I'm gonna have everybody unmute and then we'll kind of have a collective conversation just for a little bit. But I want everybody to make sure they put their cash apps and stuff like that. You may have somebody on the live right now going, you know what? Let me just send her $20 just because I just want to send them $20. I mean, you just never know. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd be happy to do that. $ Black Dot Cultural Center.
Kazemde, you know what?
Black Dot Cultural Center, along with the website if they want to order books.
All right. Do you have a book you can show us right now? Did you bring a book?
I do. Can I just walk away for 1 second?
Absolutely. You know what I'm liking about this? You can read a book, drink a glass of wine, and also sponsor a kid all at one time. I mean, it works, right? It just works. And then on top of that, you can have some jewelry. You can look fly while you're doing it. I'm just saying. I am loving this. I wish I could see what Facebook is saying, but I cannot. So I'm praying that everybody's enjoying this session because it is amazing. All right, show us what you got, Kazemde.
Okay, I bought 2 books actually.
Okay.
Not into conspiracy theories about what's going on with this pandemic, but we do have to understand, but we do know that this virus is really affecting our community. So there's a particular book that I think is really good. It's Medical Apartheid. Can you see that clearly?
Yes. Bring a look. There we go. That's better.
Can you see that? That's a great read. It gives you the history of Black people and the health industry throughout its history. So that's good. Okay. And for children, particularly teenagers, I think this should be mandatory reading. Some of us already read this.
The Miseducation of the,
by Carter G. Wilson.
Good one.
Good one. Excellent book. So that's just 2. I have plenty of children books for 3, 4, 5, 6 children. I must tell this story before you go. I had a mother come in and with her children and her oldest son was 7 years old, and he wanted to buy a book.
Okay.
So he picks up this book, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. And I'm looking at him like, you ain't fixing to read that book, right? And his mother said that she homeschools him. He's been reading at that level since he was 5.
Wow.
And I still had a hard time believing that, but he actually stood there and read a couple of pages and was able to comprehend what he was reading. So there's no reason to dumb our children down.
Right.
They're born brilliant,
Right.
right? We start them off early. So don't think that, oh, my child can't read this or won't read this. They can, and they will.
I love it. Now, the 2 books that you just presented, you do have those available for purchase as well, right?
I do. They're on the website, black.cc.com.
Thank you so
That's
much.
black.dotcc.com.
I love it. Listen, as I said with the other entrepreneurs, his information is going to be posted in the comments repetitively. So
Yes.
what? All right. Okay. How about that? Mute your phone. Let's get to my girl. Now we gonna look cute. Now, Teri, we're gonna make sure we cute. You feel what I'm saying? Hello, darling. How are you?
Hey.
Hi. We doing it up big time. What do you have for us, Miss Teri, girl?
Listen, don't call it a comeback. These have been here for years. My waist beads are a generational icon of the African heritage for centuries. And so I brought it back on the tip for the purposes of health. And then of course, for sexy. Now here's the thing. My doctor sat me down a couple years ago and said, listen, African-American women, women of color, they top the list of women that have heart disease, dropping at an alarming rate in regards to our health. And a lot of that has to do with weight. And so I was trying everything. I'm just gonna speak for myself. I was trying everything. Nothing would seem to be working, quite honestly. And I ran into a sister when I was on location a few years ago. She said, try waist beads, you know, this is a little something, it's a little sexy, but it's gonna train your waist. I'm like, I don't know about that, but I'm gonna try it out. First set, popped them, can't lie. So I called her, I said, these waist beads popped. So I don't know what you're talking about. She said, you ate too much. It was telling you that it was training your waist. However, you weren't listening. So I started reading up on them, started looking at the heritage of the purpose of waist beads. And oh my, I was astonished when I found out that in our African heritage, they were a symbol of sexy, our femininity. It determines how sexy you are by the amount of beads you wear. So now mind you, I wear 9 sets of beads. Now, this ain't for everybody. But if you're really serious about your health, Black women, women of color, waist beads are the way to go. They're not just sexy, and they are, but they're also to train your waist. They do help when you're getting a little full, they'll roll up. And then when you're starting to see a decrease, they'll start to roll down. So if you start them under your bra strap, they'll start rolling down to even to your hip area. Now, as I said before, this ain't for everybody. But if you want to be sexy and you really want to own your sexy, this is the place to go. You don't have to wear a midriff. You don't have to wear a crop top. You don't have to wear a bikini. But if you do, and you're a little fluffier in your mid area, put you on a couple strands of waist beads. That will accentuate your sexy. It's going to help you with waist training, getting your waist, and you ain't got to wear no big piece of equipment. And it's something that's very demure. And I've had some couple repeat offenders from some husbands that sent me a couple requests for things for their wives because they actually love the way it looks in the bedroom. And so this is what I do. Now, don't get it wrong now, fellas. I got y'all too. Oh, I got y'all armed. I also got y'all together too. So get into this arm candy, baby. The arm candy is here to get you fellas together too. So not only am I going to get you wasted, but I'll also have you armed. So I'm applying friendly pressure to the masses by getting you armed and wasted. So come on over to my Instagram. It's LaTour, LATOUR _NOIRE at Instagram. Come check me out because I got you. You want to be wasted? This is the waist that you want to be. You want to be armed? I got you armed. Fellas, you got a white party to go to? I got white. You got a black party to go to? I got black. All the parties, don't show up and ask somebody how to dance. Ask somebody, give your hand in the dance and you ain't got no wrist candy to work with. So get armed. Because I get you guys. You smell good. You look good. You dance good. Where's your arm candy? I also make collections. I'm actually making a collection for the phenom himself, Drew. And so I've started him off with his favorite color. I have a collection for Michael, Cool Breeze, Thomas. So I do make collections. There's no duplicates. You'll never see someone with an exact replica of the one that I've made for you, because we're made as original. So there's no need for you to be next to someone and someone has the same one. You may have the same color scheme. I only use really quality beads. I use a lot of African Ghanaian beads, free trade beads, nothing really retail. I take time, and everything is handmade. There's nothing that's wholesale. Everything that I create out of my imagination, from my imagination to your body, to adorn you and to bring out your sexy.
I feel like I need to take up an offering or something. I don't even know what to do. I mean, you just really literally laid that out. Now I want to go back to these waist hem beads here.
Come on.
Now y'all know we sitting here at the house. Now we gonna pop at least 3 strands of. Now I'm just tell you that right before we even start. Now what?
You might not, because okay, I'm gonna stand up in a second. I'm gonna show you mine, because the only way I'm the greatest example of everything that I do. So I usually start a couple strands at a time. And so my most recent are this orange strand, and I loved it. Oh my gosh. And so I started it in January, and I started right under my breast line or my bra line. And it went down. I was like, okay, I see you, Teri. I see you. However, since the pandemic, it has risen a little. It has risen a little. So I know for myself that in order for me to get to my goal, what I have to do, and not only for that, for the sexy purpose, but obviously, and more than anything, for the purposes of health. Right. And whenever I see sisters in the waist beads, because there's some women like, I don't want my stretch marks to show. I said, baby, let me tell you something. That is a symbol of your womb given life. Ooh. And I don't want my key light to show, or I have a cesarean section. Those are symbols of life. And it's okay for us to celebrate that. I don't know where in society we lost that. But those are things as women, we can celebrate that. Let me put some waist beads on you. Let me get you wasted. And when someone asks you, oh my gosh, where you get that scarf from? Girl, make up. You can either tell them this is my symbol of life, or you can say, girl, I got into a fight and somebody cut me. Whatever you want to do. It's just entirely up to you. You can keep it 100, or you can, But I'm here to get you armed and wasted. So I'm gonna show you. Okay, so for myself, I have quite a few strands. Now, these are the ones I was telling you that are the newer ones, but they started here. They have since lowered on me. And the purpose of that is because I have watched what I've eaten and making certain that I'm eating the right things. So I do want to have a goal of them getting closer to my navel. And the order for me to get there is obviously by eating better, making better choices, and making certain that I can stay off that list for the high blood pressure, for the heart disease, diabetes. I want to stay off of that list. And this is a reminder to keep me off of that list.
So how do we get these beads, honey? Because you can't.
Come on over to my Instagram, LaTour_Noir. I just had a sale Saturday. Okay. Oh my gosh. Thank you to all of the sisters who came, showed up and showed out with the sale. I'm going to have a post-COVID sale in my home. We're going to have some wine and some yummies and have a little good time. It was actually set during the week that we were put on global punishment. But they come over to my Instagram. I'll have all of my inventory posted. Fellas, like I said, I'm not leaving y'all out. Y'all can get armed. You're looking for a certain color for a certain thing, I got it. For you guys that have fraternal orders, I have your colors. I don't have your symbols because I'm not authorized. However, I do have your colors. If you're in any fraternity or sororities, I do have your colors so that when you show up and you're ready to show your representation of who you belong to, I got you. I got your colors.
Well, make sure you buy your wine from Ro down there.
Ro, you already know. So
get your wine from
she's
Ro.
Gonna get my wine for my post-COVID party.
How about that? All right, guys, everybody unmute yourselves. This has been amazing. Enjoy yourself. Did you enjoy yourselves?
Yes.
Oh, I did. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to say your cash apps, say your websites again, do all that stuff one more time before we go, because I do need to bring the other 2 ladies in. So I'll make sure I get them done. Again, don't forget, guys, post your information repetitively, put it on my wall, do whatever, because we want to make sure you guys get the support that you need and you deserve. viewers, I want to let you guys, I did this for a couple of different reasons. My main reason is because I wanted to bless others. God has blessed me with a platform, so I wanted to extend my platform to other people. To me, it doesn't make any sense for me to keep it all to myself. That makes no sense. You know what I mean? So why not share it to others and bless other people and see them get there? Hey, I was telling all of them, I'm more excited than y'all. I think I'm more excited than y'all, and it's y'all. Oh. I was doing way too much earlier. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. So I want to make sure you guys understand that this is going to be the first of many. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to do this again. And I don't mind. I think it's fun. And I think it's great. I think it's needed for us. We need to see us. You know what I mean? We need to see us doing stuff. I want to ask you, John, a specific question for an entrepreneur question. Give me a pitfall as an entrepreneur that most of us make. Something that we do
Something that we do.
and
There needs to be a distinct separation between you and your business. I know for me as a nonprofit, when I'm going out and I'm fundraising and I'm asking for money, I need to make it clear that I'm not asking money for me. I'm asking money for this organization. And sometimes those lines can be blurred, and you need to make sure that there's a distinct.
Did we lose John?
Am I still here?
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So a distinction.
So yeah, I mean, I think that is just one of the most important things to remember, is that you have to separate yourself from your organization or your business, because when you down a rabbit, they kind of stay separate. You're going to be connected, by default anyway, but especially when you're dealing with monies, and so on and so forth, make sure that you let people know that yes, you are kind of supporting me, but you're really supporting this business and my mission of this business.
I love that. Give me a pitfall, bro.
Did you say me? Was wrong. Well, pitfall. My other business, travel. I'm also a travel agent, and this pandemic came, and I lost all of the trips that I had pretty much for the remainder of the year. So luckily, I started doing wine about a year ago, so I was able to focus more on that. But yeah, I just took a great big loss. So this pandemic was definitely a pitfall for me.
So, but I think the lesson in that is that you have multiple streams of income, right?
Correct.
You have several things that make you money, right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna wait for you last, Kazemde, because I already know you.
What?
Teri, give me something. Give us something. What's a pitfall? Some things you've run into being a business owner?
Not casting your net far enough. Sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves with one group of people or one type of people. And unfortunately, you're missing out on not just this opportunity, but opportunities to come. So using your social media platform is partial of our problem, but also the bigger thing is getting yourself out there. Like John said, it's somewhat of the opposite. You have to be a representation of what you are or what you're selling. I mean, I always wear my things, and I'm always explaining what I do, but we definitely have to cast our net. And the problem with not casting is we're limiting ourselves. If you only do sets, then you're only going to get steppers. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. However, there's different lines of professions. There's different golf leagues that may want a set of, there's some people from their line, they may want some, but we have to be more cognizant to casting our nets a little further.
Absolutely. That's a very good one, Teri. I had to learn that one. I had to learn because I started this just talking to steppers and doing interviews with steppers and whatever. And my management, Insury Entertainment, said, wait a minute, you're going to talk to anybody. You can interview.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, what? I couldn't see that far because this was my warm market. So that's what got me to interview Malcolm Jamal Warner. So, you have to extend yourself and, like you said, and stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. If you're going to do this thing called self-employment. This is a business for me. It's not something I just get on here and play with y'all. This is actually a business for me, thanks to my management company. Because I was like, girl, please let me just go live and tell these folks sit down somewhere and don't put their spit on. but she saw a bigger picture than I did. So yes, definitely. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Kazemde, pitfall.
Well,
What?
it's interesting you asked that question. T. Pratt Turk Pratt had referred me to a book called The E-Myth Revisited. And it's why small businesses fail,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And what small businesses should do. So like we're in our infancy stages. I've been in business under 5 years. But what I've learned so far is that you get so, people go become self-employed for a myriad of reasons, right? Some just want to work on their own, don't want to work for anybody anymore. But your business becomes your job if you're not very careful, right? So the business is running you and you're not running your business, basically. And how that happens is because we're all technicians. We do what we do, so we get so much involved in doing what we do that we forget how to be an entrepreneur, or we forget how to be a manager, because you have to balance all three of those things. So I don't want to call them pitfalls, I'll say challenges. So the challenges for me is how to stop letting my business run me and for me to run my business, right? How do I go from working my tail off to growing my business and to overseeing it in entirety? So how do I move out of this infancy stage? So I'm in the process of that as we speak. So that question is so point on that it's like when you read the book, it's like the book is telling you your story.
Yeah.
And you realize that, wait a minute, I'm not the only one who's doing this foolishness. I'm not the only one who's feeling this, right? Yep. I'm not the only one who is going through this. But what I am not going to be is one of those statistics that 80% that fail within the first 5 years. So continuing education is extremely important. Reading success stories is extremely important. So that's another book. E-Myth Revisited. Great book to get.
Loved it. Love it. I want you guys to communicate with each other. We're in this thing together, right?
Absolutely.
Communicate with each other. I started us a private group. I'm going to keep that group. So just be ready. You know what I mean? And just share things, especially during this time. I also want to encourage you guys to share each other's information on your page. You know what I mean? John, share Rose information. Sure. Rose, share Kazemde's information.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what it takes. You can't, like you said, John, you can't just keep all the information to yourself. That's not how any of this works. You know what I mean? This is just not how it works. You know what I mean? So let's continue to do that. I want to tell the viewers, thank you so much for your continued support in my brand, Talking Tea with Tika. But now I need you to support my friends. These are my friends. These are my friends. And so I need you to support them. I need you to buy them out. I need them to inbox me and say, I am sold out. I'm sold out. I have gotten so much money. I don't need any more money. That's what I want John to call me and say, I don't need no more money. I'm just saying, stimulus check, send it to John. Right? Look, I need folk drinking. Y'all already drinking. So call Ro, get you a bottle. It takes 7 to 10 days. You're already drinking anyway. Drink with Ro. You feel what I'm saying? Remember the t-shirt, drink with Ro? Don't take my idea.
That's cute.
And in the meantime, hopefully we won't get too fluffy from drinking on her wine and then we can't wear our beads. So I don't know.
Yeah, I want some waist beads.
Come on.
Lord, y'all so hard, just wrap that whole thing together. I just wrapped it all together. You know what I mean? But anyway, I love you guys so much. Y'all stay. We love you. We're going to end this one and we're going to start another one with Sarah and Lynette. So hopefully you guys will be in the comments on that one, okay?
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
My head.